Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge in financial freedom. Today, I have zero headlines. I wanted some extra sleep. I did not sleep very well last night, so we're just doing a whole TA day. We're going to break down some of today's data that we'll be seeing, because it's a doozy, and then we're going to jump straight into some TA requests. Yeah, hashtag Jesse got no sleep. Hashtag BC got no sleep either. So, yeah, it's going to be a great day, though. So, I got that stock heat map pulled up. Like always, let's get you prepped for some success. We're seeing some red on the charts from yesterday. Everything kind of closed to the downside, except for your consumer non-durables and some of those money makers. So we got Apple sitting down 0.99, and in the pre-market looking quite neutral, down 0.28. We got Nvidia sitting down 5.74, and in the pre-market getting hit quite hard, down 1.36. We got Berkshire Hathaway, one of those money makers, sitting up 0.82, in the pre-market up 0.35 right now. Got Amazon sitting down a whopping 2.23. Looking quite neutral in the pre-market, though, down 1.17. We've got Eli Lilly down 3% from its close. Looking quite neutral in the pre-market, up 0.04. Got ExxonMobil sitting up 1.44 off of some decent oil data from yesterday, sitting quite neutral in the pre-market, down 0.08. Got Tesla sitting down a whopping 5.58%. Looking to the upside this morning, 0.24. We got P&G sitting up 2.29 off of its close, and in the pre-market looking up 0.04, so just looking quite neutral for the morning. We've got Microsoft down 1.31, looking quite neutral in the pre-market so far, up 0.07. We've got Google sitting down 3.27 in the pre-market, looking quite neutral, up 0.24, and we've got Meta sitting down 2.45 in the pre-market, just outside of that neutral range, down 0.55. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. We are looking quite red so far. We do have a few outliers on that daily. We got Bitcoin down 1%, Ethereum down 2.2. We got XRP down 4.1. We've got BNB up 0.06. We've got Solana down 4.7, Doge down 4.5, got Cardano down 4.4, we've got Tron up 1.5, got Chainlink up down 1.8, we've got TON up a whopping 6.6 right now, we've got Avalanche down 3.3, Leo sitting neutral on the hourly and the daily. We've got Stellar Lumens down 2.5, Sweet up 5.2. We'll definitely be taking a look at that chart a little bit later. We've got Shiba Inu down 6.4 after a massive green day the other day. Got HBAR down 3.9, Litecoin down 1.2, and to wrap out that top 20, we've got Polkadot sitting down 2.7. Let's hop over to those fear and greeds. We've got the stock market sitting up a point, still sitting in fear though. We do have the crypto markets making a move back to the downside, which is not unexpected, as we failed to even get up to some of that top side liquidity yesterday. We're back to fear from that neutral range. Let's hop over to that liquidation heat map, and you can kind of see we have left a lot of that topside liquidity open. We've still got that 88,200 all the way up to 88,350, and that's that top hot spot to the top side. We've got that 3-day with that liquidity still to the top side that we failed to even get up to. We are starting to get a bit of a hot spot to the bottom side now. You zoom that on out to the 2-week like we were looking at yesterday. We still got that nice hot spot to the top side, which is that area we were looking at getting up to and wiping out all of that liquidity. Looks like we're going to leave it open for now, and we're going to head back down to some of this bottom side liquidity. We do have a lot of liquidity sitting at 83,100, and there's about $100 million there. We still have a lot more to the bottom side if you start zooming that out just a little bit more. Got to go to that 3 month, not that 1 month there. We're looking pretty bare on that 1 month, but this 3 month looks very, very hot to the bottom side, and that's what I was teasing yesterday. I know someone said we might not see $85,000 Bitcoin again anytime soon, but I think that's exactly where we're heading to, and we might be heading a little bit lower. Let's hop over to that economic calendar for today, because we do have some heavy data coming out here soon. We did get some data from the European Union with their commission forecast this morning. Not a big market mover. We also got that European Union General Council meeting. I'm sure they talked about quite a bit there. I'll have to dive into that because I slept in. Normally I'm a little bit more prepared on what happened on the other side of the world, but I'll see what they said in those meetings. We have some big data coming out at 8:30 Eastern time. We will be getting core PCE prices quarter over quarter. This is looking like a giant increase from 2.2% to 2.7%, meaning there is inflation on the producer side. We also get our corporate profits quarter over quarter. Was sitting in the negative last time. We'll kind of have to see if that trend continues. That's not what you want to see. That's a more contracting economy data. We have GDP growth rate quarter over quarter, which is looking to be a decrease from 3.1% to 2.3%. If this comes out a little bit over forecast, that is not bullish. That is still a contracting economy. We do have that quarter over quarter price index as well, looking to increase. So, meaning more inflation. This is not what we want to see. We do see goods trade balance as well, looking a little bit like a slow up on the negative, which is slightly positive. It might be a little bit of some mixed data for that morning. But we do have initial jobless claims as well coming in a little bit hotter. So some more negative data for the markets. We are seeing the real consumer spending quarter over quarter, which is not a big market mover, but it is an indicator that we are looking at a contracting economy with inflation increasing. It is 3.7% last time and forecasted to be 4.2% this time. So a bit of an increase in that wrong direction. We also have some pending home sales at 10, looking like we're going to see our first positive in quite a while on those pending home sales. We'll kind of have to see if we head from 4.6 in the negative to 1.5 in the positive. I think it comes in a little bit short, especially since, now is not exactly the time to be buying a house. We also have the Kansas Fed Composite Index, not a big market mover, but something to keep your eye on. And then we're looking pretty bare for the rest of the day. We do have some bond auctions, and we have a speech from the European Central Bank president at 2:05 Eastern time. So that's another thing to kind of keep your eye on. That's not a big market mover, but they are ahead of us in the rate cutting cycle, and they're preparing for some tariffs to be levied on their country. So there's been a lot of information coming out of them and Canada, and they have a potential partnership in the works that Trump is not too happy about. We also have another Fed speech coming out at 4:30 Eastern time. So that's another thing to keep your eye on. All right, let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart and say good morning to everyone in the chats. I see BC needs hashtag BC needs sleep is going in the chats. Yep, definitely need some sleep. It's been a rough week. I don't know what's been going on. We got French Toaster in the chats. Good morning to you. We got Crypto Billion here. Got that redirect all set up for after the show at 6:30. We'll be heading over to that morning motivational video. Great way to start your day. Whoa, I'm a home builder. Always a good time to buy a house. Costs will never come down again with this broken fiat system. See, and it just depends on your finances. For me, now is a terrible time to buy a house because I'm not trying to get hit at 9% interest rates. Because last time I looked at uh, a home loan, they were trying to tell me I was going to get hit with 9% interest rates, and that's me like 3.5 times paying for a house. So not the time for me. I would rather have the cost of my house be a little bit higher and my interest rates be a little bit lower. That way I can pay things off a little bit quicker. Because I don't like to just make that base payment, and it's a little harder to make that base payment and some extra if your base payment is a little bit higher. All right, let's see. We got Jay Violet in the chat. We've got French Toaster in here. Good morning to you. I see Duality C in here saying hello to everyone, dropping that waving hand. We got Uncle Jesse as always. We got Alexander G in here. We got Robert Mulligan in the chat. Good morning. I see Moonbags in here. Good morning to you. And looks like that's about it for now. I know we got some lurkers in here, so good morning to all you lurkers. I see K Diggity in here. Good morning to you. And Darren Does Things as well. Good morning. Darren Does Things says 9% interest US is a rip. Come to the UK, you'll get max 4%. Lol, I'm in at 3.2. Yeah, I've been looking at it. Yeah, the only problem there is convincing my lady to move somewhere besides where all of her family is. So that's been a big barrier there. So let's hop into this Bitcoin chart. It does look like we dropped below that 382 I was talking about yesterday, needing to hold as some support if we want to remain bullish and really get that sweep of some up top side liquidity, which is residing right to the top side of these wicks here. We have that starting at that 88,800 range and ranging all the way up there to that 90,000. There's a lot of liquidity to the top side now that we've lost this 382, looking for a little bit more bottom side. We got Crypto Billy saying, where do you live again, BC? I live smack dab in the center of the United States in Nebraska. So we also have some very atrocious taxes on land on home buyers. So that's another little barrier there. I'd rather have those lower interest rates for now. That way it's like, okay, the price of your house is a little bit up, but with me making more money, I'm okay with that if my interest rates are lower because I can kind of pay it off a little quicker. I'm only looking to pay on my house for like 5 years or so because I'll be a 6-figure earner, and I'm not worried about what the price is as long as that interest rate is okay. I'm not trying to get smacked around on that one. We are looking back to that downside now that we lost that 382 there. You've got your MACD to the bottom side of our indicator and heading to the downside as we're starting to print some heavy red candles all over again. Money flow looking quite solid here, but your volume is starting to be some selling volume as your prime oscillator is looking to the downside, and we've got that true 7 also headed to the downside, looking quite red here, waiting for that to kind of clip out. You do have a bit of a support area right to the bottom side of us at about 86,500. That would be a point to kind of look for us to hold. If we are unable to really maintain that, I would look a little bit lower back to this 85,251, which I had talked about potentially needing to turn into some support on some higher term time frames. If we lose that, it's all kind of ugly back down to this CME gap and 81,300, where we've also got a lot of liquidity sitting to the bottom side. Let's zoom this on into that hourly, take a look at what we're seeing for the day, and it looks like we've got that downside action heading our way, especially with the data drops we'll be seeing here at 8:30. You've got that MACD printing light green candles and looking like you're going to start printing this first red candle here on the hourly as we're heading into this hour. You do have that MACD looking to cross that indicator line and our zero line, headed back down to the downside as our prime oscillator just switched from green to red here and is getting that curvature back to the bottom. True 7 also heading back down. Money flow looking like it saw a brief visit to the green as it started to roll back over here. Got your volume also rolling over and sitting in light green here on that hourly. So not looking overwhelmingly positive here. Looking like you might make that last ditch effort back to that 382 before we really lose that quite heavily. Zoom that on in to the 15-minute and you can kind of see that's where I'm saying we might get that last ditch push towards that 382. We're looking quite bottomy here on our prime oscillator, and your MACD's getting some slight curvature here, printing bigger red candles though. Money flow making that last ditch push in as we are seeing that volume start to increase as some selling volume. So looking for a little bit of a push towards that 382 to see if we can really claim that as support. But I do think that is going to be our very strong resistance area for now, and we're going to continue to the bottom side. Let's see what the chat's saying. He's Crypto Billy saying, I'm licensed GC in 13 states, but Nebraska isn't one. Well, that's disappointing there. There's not a whole lot going on in Nebraska, though, so you're probably not missing out on a lot. That's part of the reason I've actually looked at leaving Nebraska. Just gotta wait till my girl gets a little bit older and might try to find a nice house in the South that we can snowbird to, because winters here aren't awesome. I think we hit negative 13 degrees for a few days this winter, and that was atrocious. I didn't leave my house for like 2 weeks, and that sucks. I like to do stuff sometimes, and Nebraska's not a great place to do stuff during the winter. We got Ernie saying, good morning, good people. Good morning to you, Ernie. We got Darren Dusty's Billy, build BC a house. I would love to do that. I've got some plans that I've kind of looked at. I would like a little bit of a castle type thing where it's like very rounded for the center of my house, and a nice little chill room at the top of that so you can kind of look out in all directions. But other than that, just being a single floor ranch style house. Kind of a little bit nerdy, but you know what? I'm a nerd. I like to look at charts all day, so that's not too unexpected. I've always wanted a castle, so I did find a brief headline as right before I went live. I'm not going to dive too far into this, but we got GameStop stock drops. The meme stock is selling 1.3 billion of notes to buy Bitcoin. That's kind of all I'm going to go with there. Looks like GameStop is selling some of their shares to buy some Bitcoin. So they are hopping on that Bitcoin bandwagon. All right, let's hop over to some of these alt requests. I had SWE requested before the show. I was actually taking a look at SWE as Jesse had said to look at SWE. So looking for a little bit of a retrace here. We got that 15-minute rolling over quite heavy as we're printing some red candles on this oscillator here. Prime oscillator also looking to the downside. True 7 waiting to clip here. So if we can see this volume kind of be very slow on that selling volume. You could potentially hold up some support in this range that I've got drawn out. It goes from $2.65 all the way up to $2.69. So this is that little order block I'd potentially look at. If we do lose that, there's an order block right below that we could potentially hold up as some support, but that'd be that first little area I would look for the morning to see a potential bounce. Really going to depend a lot on Bitcoin and today's data though. So that's going to be that big contingency on price action. You do have the potential for some lower prices if you really look at this hourly. You're getting some heavy curvature on your prime oscillator and your MACD. Got several divergences stacked up here, but your volume is holding quite steady here on the hourly. So if you're unable to maintain that, you've got a bit of a range to the bottom side at $2.53, going all the way up to the highs up here about 260, where you could potentially see that secondary bounce zone if we continue to see this money flow come out here, but you have steady buying volume. Got your True 7 looking quite green there. We had Safe requested and Beam requested as well. I haven't taken a look at Beam in quite a while. I know it's an NFT marketplace built on Ethereum. It got a nice push up on that initial push in the bull market, but ever since then, I've not really taken a look at it, you know. I took my profits and then I never looked at it again because NFTs aren't really this cycle's mover. Let's zoom this on out to that daily, see what we're looking at there. Does look like you found a nice V bottom recovery there. Looking like quite the downtrend though. You zoom this on out and it's quite sideways movement for now. Looking for a nice recovery on that price though. Let's get a fib pulled from the highs here to the lows and see if we can find an area which we might get back up to. Looks like we're trying to break the highs from the way down. Let's get a horizontal ray drawn out there. We've got 0.116104, which would be that area we need to get above and turn into some support if we really want to get back up to that 236 and 0.136502. I hate some of these projects with all of their numbers because they're so far below that penny there, but that'd be that area I would really look for. You've got very strong resistance above that 236 and the 382 being that next real strong resistance area that we were unable to maintain there. So if you can get all the way back up there with some positive money flow, I would look back up to that 382. Daily looking a little bit bearish here on the prime oscillator, getting that curvature back to the downside. MACD's got plenty of room to run. 4 hour looking like it's going to make a last ditch push back up to that resistance line I have drawn out. You've got your prime oscillator sitting at very green here as we're getting that push to the upside, but your volume's starting to falter just a little bit on that 4 hour. Zooming into that hourly, seeing what the day might be bringing our way. This is where we're seeing that curvature back to the upside here. Got your MACD line looking to cross our indicator line to the top side as we're looking to start printing green candles again. Got your prime oscillator also heading back to the upside, looking light red as our True 7 didn't quite clip out, but is looking to head back to the upside. Volume slowed down quite a bit here. It is some selling volume, but some quick money flow coming in on Beam could really push us back up to that 0116 area. Looking at that 15-minute and the morning, looks like we're going to see that push back up, and that's where you see your MACD line crossing our indicator line, printing very green candles here, and your prime oscillator just went from red to green after we stacked up a divergence here. Looking at that volume to slow down quite a bit and money flow to come in quite positive for the morning before you potentially see a little bit of sell off on the day. All right, there was Beam for you. Let's take a look at Safe. I know that one was requested as well. We said, did we all hit the like button yet? No, do it now. I appreciate you, Jesse. We've got a bunch of Billy Goat Tails emojis dropped in the chat. Well, I'm going to drop those in there as well. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all over there in about 5 minutes. I'm going to drop some holy balls there for Alexandra G. I love that new emoji there. Let's see. We got Billy Goat Tales, The Tricky Wolf, and the Wise Boy by Redman. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon. I appreciate you dropping that link in the chat, Alexander G. And we'll be having a little bit of a giveaway of those books here. After the show, at the end of the show, I will talk to you about how to win your copies of not only the second book, but the first book as well. And then we're going to give another copy away of the second book. So we'll be picking 2 winners on Friday's show to give those books away to. I see DeFi Ant saying good morning and dropping those otters in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning. Getting all prepped for the day. We got some potential volatility heading our way. Let's take a look at Safe. Let's pull up crypto and Safe. I haven't taken a look at that in quite a while. I don't think I've got it on the Coinbase chart though. I don't think that one had the most history, but it looks like we found a nice recovery point down here at 35 cents and have made a nice V-shaped recovery here. Going to pull a fib from the lows to the highs, and it looks like we've lost that 236, potentially heading back to the downside. Maybe find a little bit of a bouncing point at that 50% line, getting some curvature here on your prime oscillator, but maintaining green money flow and volume, and your prime oscillator maintaining some green. Looking for a little bit of a downside on your hourly, as your MACD has already crossed your indicator line to the bottom, but is getting some slight curvature sideways here. So looking like you could potentially see a 382 or 50% bounce there. If you do see that 382 bounce, you've got plenty of room to the upside to run up to outside of that range, and that'd be this first little area here. I would look for as a zone. We've got 65 cents all the way up to 71 cents, which is going to be not a buy area, but a resistance area. Let's get that colored properly. There we go. Outside of this fib range, we have that very strong resistance to the top side of us. So that's what I would look for. If you can get that strong 382 bounce and a continuation to the upside. So take a look at that on the 15-minute and see what the morning might be bringing our way. Getting that curvature of our MACD on our indicator line as we're looking to print our first green candle here. Get back above that 382. Looking like that might be a little bit of some resistance here, as you're seeing plenty of selling volume on the 15-minute, and your money flow moving back and forth from red to green here. So we're seeing a little bit of a battle between bears and bulls on Safe. Looking like that 382 might be that strong resistance zone where we see a triple touch at before we come down to that 382 for the morning. All right, it is almost time to head over to Billy Goat Tails and that morning motivational video. I appreciate every single one of you for showing up. I know it was a shorter show, but I'm glad you're here. Go ahead at the end of this video, leave a comment, hashtag giversgain, and that's how we will be choosing our winners. We will be choosing 2. One winner will get both copy of the Billy Goat Tales books, copy 1 and 2, and the second winner will receive a copy of the second book in that series. So go ahead after the show ends, leave that hashtag giversgains in the comments, and then head over to that morning motivational video. Make sure to tune in to Piper and that morning market report for the breakdown of today's data. That will be a very important data drop, and we'll see kind of if that sends markets back to the downside. We also have Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We have OC Guys show at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we've got Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So plenty of shows here on the Piper Academy to get your alpha. I will see y'all in the Alexo Crypto chats here in about 30 minutes, and I will see y'all at the morning motivational video here in a second. Make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a volatile day, but it's going to be a good day.